fresh out of the shower and a message wants to come through. And what I'm hearing is you do not need to have all of the answers to start. Okay? You do not need to know what the bigger picture looks like to start. And there's this energy of like needing to have it figured out, or being really just like lost and confused and unclear and uncertain, and being paralyzed by that and not being able to take action forward. I have a throat thing here. There's a throat block about something about expressing yourself, something about speaking your needs, speaking your truth, and saying it with your full chest, right? You do not need to wait until you have all of the answers to do that. Start. That is how you get there. That is how you get the clarity. That is how you get the bigger pictures, when you start where you're at. When you start with what you have. Nobody has it figured out. Nobody knows what they're doing. And anybody who tells you otherwise is not being fully honest with themselves. Okay? None of us have all the answers. But we have truth within us. Okay? And when we trust what we feel, because here's the thing, like what works for you may not work for me. What works for me may not work for you, right? Like what is true for you is not what's true for me, and vice versa. Like we can resonate with each other and we can share information and we can be aligned on certain things, but we ultimately always have to follow our own truth. And please always know too, with my messages or any messages that you come across, tarot readers, channelers, any sort of guidance. Oh, sorry, my eye is itching. That may be a sign for someone. And that was my left eye too. And I just heard, you can see for yourself, okay? You do not need a reading. You do not need confirmation from anybody outside of yourself. Now, there is great value in readings and in confirmation. And I still love to receive that. I love receiving messages. I love receiving the confirmations. That is okay, but it cannot replace your inner knowing. It is not about seeking answers outside of yourself. It is about confirming what you know to be true from within. Okay? And this is interesting that we're going in this direction, because this is not where I thought Spirit was taking this message. But that is the whole point. This is so funny. That is the whole point, because when you just trust and you open your mouth, you open this app, you do whatever, like you start and you open yourself up and you allow what wants to come out of you, or whatever it is, like when you allow yourself to just take the first step and then take the next step and then take the next step in each now moment, you will land exactly where you're meant to land, and you will look back and you will see the full picture. You will see how you had to go on this journey, and every step was so vital to get you to where you are, even if it was a zigzag, even if you did a couple loops and then and then move forward, and then did a couple loops and move forward. Like, it's all part of the journey. Okay? And what would the point be if we knew exactly what was going to happen? 3, 2, 1 on the timer. Like, where's the fun in that? Like, that would get old so fast, right? Like, we need to allow ourselves some grace to let things unfold. 333 on the timer, and it's 10:33. Let things unfold in divine timing, and when we're ready. Like, because that's the other thing. Sometimes confirmation, like, we're only given what we are able to hold in each moment. Because if we knew what was at step 10, and I've talked about this before, we would not go on the journey. And that is not to say that when you get to step 10, it's not what you want. It's just that the journey to get there sometimes is not comfortable. In fact, I would venture to say it's never comfortable. But discomfort is a good thing. And I don't know what's going on with my screen, but it's like super weird and foggy. And it keeps like coming in and out of focus, like, which feels like this, what I'm talking about, like this lack of clarity, this fogginess, this haziness. And you're like you're like thinking that you need to wait for that to clear up to take action. And that is, again, please take what resonates and listen to your own intuition over everything else, always. Like, and let anything else be confirmation or validation for you. Okay. But Spirit is saying, the more you just start to walk and trust that you are being guided from your highest, right? The fog lifts, And sometimes the fog lifts for a little bit and we see clearly, and then we continue walking and it's foggy again. And it's just, we have to do this as we go through. And it's like the seasons of life too, right? And like, it's the spiral of life. Like, we come back to these things and we remember, like, I've been here before. And you can feel that and feel annoyed. You can feel impatient with yourself. You can like be frustrated, or you can see it for what it is and realize that you're coming back to the same point, the same pain point, the same challenge, the same belief from a higher vantage point, from a higher perspective. So you can see it for what it is and surrender so much quicker, so you can move through it a lot quicker. Okay? But the message here really is just to trust your heart, to trust your inner guidance, to trust your intuition, to trust your gifts, to trust the things that you are being pulled towards, to trust the things that you just know to be true and you don't know why, you don't have the explanation, you don't have the evidence, you maybe don't understand it fully, but trusting that you are being led towards something. Okay, 555. And this is big change, right? And change is uncomfortable, but that is what we have to go through to get to where we want to go. That is what we have to go through to get to where we want to go. And the more that you recognize that and the more that you practice that, the easier it gets and the less uncomfortable it gets, because you can quickly flip it to excitement because you know you're about to break through to exactly what you want. Okay, but this is a process and it takes as long as it takes for each individual, and each individual is going through their own specific journey in this life, and that looks different. Confirmation. For everyone. Some people, like, that's the thing, your soul chose to come into this life and go on a specific journey for a specific reason, to learn specific lessons, to grow in specific ways for a greater purpose, okay? So when you can just trust that and realize that you can't compare yourself to other people's journeys. Yes, you can accept like inspiration and guidance and feel less alone by knowing that other people are going through similar things to you, but you are ultimately going on your own journey, so it's not going to look exactly like everyone else's. Okay, and we are in community and we talk and we share so that we can feel less alone and so we can learn from each other and grow from each other. But ultimately, you have to go with what you feel from within every single time, and trust that you are being divinely guided. Trust that you are being led exactly where you need to go, and you are getting there in exactly the time that you need to get there. Okay, and please know that this message is for me too. I go through this all the time. Okay, I'm currently in a period of a lack of clarity, of like a lot of uncertainty, and I have been for a while, and it's been a lot of ups and downs where I feel really good one day, I feel really sure, I feel really clear, and then the next day it's foggy again, right? And I'm like, I have the doubt, I have the fear, it all comes up. That's normal. It is normal. We all go through that. Okay, we all go through that. So just know that you are not alone. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not wrong. You are not broken. You are right on time. You are exactly who you are meant to be. You are on the exact journey you're meant to be on, and you're on the right path. Okay, trust that, feel into that, and let your heart lead you each next step in each now moment. Okay, I'm sending you so much love. We are in this together. Keep going. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Rest when you need to rest. Okay, push when you need to push. And just trust your intuition, trust your guidance, ask for help from your guides, ask for signs, ask for the confirmation, ask for the clarity. That is all so valid and helpful and uplifting and needed, but trust your intuition and your inner knowing always above all else, okay? I love you so much.